In this video, I will show you how to multiply fractions, especially the sign fractions. So the first example is to multiply 5 over 12 by 6 over 10. Usually, you would just multiply the numerators, which is 5 times 6, over, and then multiply the denominator, which is 12 times 10. Then you get 30 over 120. This is the way you learned before, and you know that after you get this, you will need to simplify your answer. So you want to reduce this fraction by dividing the GCF of both the numerator and denominator. So in this case, the GCF is 30. So I want to divide 30 on top and bottom, and I get 1 over 4. But there's also a more convenient way to show this, or I would say more efficient way. I'm going to copy my problem again, which is 5 over 12 times 6 over 10. So I would like you to imagine that you apply commutative property of multiplication. At first, I would still copy this as 5 times 6 over 12 times 10. Then I'm going to switch the position of either the 5 and 6 or the 12 and 10. So I'm going to, in this case, switch the bottom to 10 times 12. And I can break this down to 5 over 10 times 6 over 12. So if I do that, I can now reduce the two fractions, the two factors. So 5 over 10 becomes 1 over 2, because divide 5 and 10 by 5. Then you also can divide 6 and 12 both by the GCF of it, which is 6, so you get 1 over 2. Then you will get your answer, which is 1/4. Now, after you do more practice problems like this, then you can simply just write down the original. And then you know that you have 5 and 10 here, so you cross out the 5 and 10 just like what we did here. So we will have 1 and 2 because divide both 5 and 10 by 5. Then we will do this part, which is divide 6 and 12 both by 6. So I get 1 here and I get 2 here. So essentially, we still get 1/4. You can totally skip this part and just show this part to find your answer. So let's try another problem. Okay, this time we have 6 over 9 times negative 3 over 11. Sometimes you see the problem is presented like this, but basically it just means you're multiplying the two fractions, and the second factor, the second fraction, is a negative fraction. What you can do first is you can rewrite this as 6 over 9 times negative 3 over 11. The reason is because whenever you see a fraction like this, negative 3 over 11, you can also write it as negative 3 over 11 or 3 over negative 11. You will still get the same value. It doesn't matter where you put the negative sign. So going back to the problem. So of course, you can just multiply numerators by numerator, denominator by denominator. That will get you the answer. But there's another way to make it more efficient to solve this problem. So if you observe these two fractions, you see that 6 over 9 is actually not simplified. So we can first reduce 6 over 9 to 2 over 3, because we can divide 6 by 3, 9 by 3, and we get 2 over 3. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, there's a way to help you show work. You can either cross out this and write 2 over 3, or you can just write down this in the next step. Okay, but we're not done yet. Based on our previous example, we know that we can also reduce the negative 3 over 3 as negative 1 over 1. And the reason is because if I were to copy this again, I can also rewrite it as 2 over 11 times negative 3 over 3. And that helps you to see that this is negative 1, this is 1. Okay, so after I reduce this, now I can finally multiply the 2 and the negative 1, and I get negative 2. Then I multiply the 1 and the 11, I get 11. So the answer is negative 2 over 11. You can also write your answer as negative 2 over 11 with the negative sign in front of the fraction. The next example is to multiply two mixed numbers, and both of them are negative. So to solve this problem, you first want to convert your mixed numbers to improper fractions. So let's do that one by one. For negative 3 and 3/8, we can just write this as negative and parentheses 3 and 3/8 like this, so you know that you just need to convert 3 and 3/8 inside the parentheses. So I'm going to keep writing it down. Now, what is 3 and 3/8 to a improper fraction? You are going to keep the 8 as the denominator, and for the top, it will be 3 times 8 plus 3. And then you just need to simplify the numerator. So 3 times 8 is 24, 24 plus 3 is 27. So it's negative 27 over 8, which is equivalent to negative 3 and 3/8. And we just do the same procedure for the next number, which is negative 2 and 1/3. So again, to help you see the process, I'm going to put parentheses around 2 and 1/3. It's still equivalent to the given number. Okay, so to convert 2 and 1/3, I need to multiply 2 by 3 plus 1, and then put it over 3. So I will have negative, 2 times 3 is 6, 6 plus 1 is 7, so negative 7 over 3. Okay, so now that we converted both mixed number, I'm going to copy it down before I erase the work. So this will become negative 27 over 8 times negative 7 over 3. Or if you want to use the multiplication symbol. Okay, so now I write this as negative 27 over 8 times negative 7 over 3. Think about the rule of multiplying sign integers. If you have something such as negative 2 times negative 3, you know the answer is positive 6 because negative times negative is positive. So in this case, we know that we just need to find the product of 27 over 8 times 7 over 3 because negative times negative is positive. So I'm just going to write this as the expression on the right side like this, and I continue. So 27 over 8 times 7 over 3. It looks like we can reduce parts of this expression. I'm going to show you the work on the side again. You can also think of it as you have 27 over 3 times 7 over 8 by applying the commutative property of multiplication. You will still get 27 times 7 on top, 8 times 3 at the bottom, right? So here we see that 27 and 3, they both have this, they have a GCF, which is 3. So 27 divided by 3 is 9. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So I'm going to do it here. So divide by 3, 9. Divided by 3, 1. Now I can multiply the numerators, which is 9 and 7. So I multiply them. And for the denominator, I have 8 times 1. So 7 times 9 is 63. 8 times 1 is 8. But this is not the final answer. We still need to convert it to a mixed number. So think about how many 8s goes into 63. If you think it's 8 is too much because 8 times 8 is already 64, that means we have 7 8s goes into 63. Alright, so I'm going to erase this. 7 times 8 is 56. So let's write down 7 here first, and then we know that the denominator has to be 8. So 63 minus 56 is 7. So the answer is 7 and 7, 8. The last problem is to show you multiplying a whole number and a fraction. So in the past, I realized some students would think this is 4 and 5/8, which is a mixed number, but you need to remember, if you write 4 and 5/8, it actually means 4 plus 5/8. But if you see a dot here, it means it's multiplication and you actually have to multiply it. Another way to write this is 4 with parentheses 5/8. Okay, so they mean different things. So the right side is just a mixed number, but the left side means multiplication. Okay, let me finish the dot. Alright, so now that we set up this, we can erase the right side because just to help you understand. Now to multiply a whole number with a fraction, you can also rewrite your whole number as a fraction. So the whole number 4, you can write it as 4/1. So 4/1 times 5/8. And like we explained before, you can reduce before you multiply. So here we see that 4 and 8 both have a GCF, which is 4. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. So we will have 1 times 5, which is 5, 1 times 2, which is 2, and our final answer is 2 and 1/2, because there are 2 2's goes into 5, and the leftover 1, you put it on top.